Mfundishi13 CrystalSun. I have a video, who and what you are living for. That's a viable question. That question should have been answered years ago in my life. So since I have the power and the reasoning to tell you, that's a question that you should ask you and your spouse and your kids in a family setting. Who and what you are living for. I wish I would have asked myself that question years ago. I would have never took the route that I have took. I'm not mad, I'm not angry, I'm not blaming no one. I was watching a video, my brother, he put it on my mind to ask the world, like, who and what are you living for? Because a lot of people don't have that answer. A lot of people are looking forward to the liquor store, the clubs, even positive things like real estate, business, but no one don't say that, yeah, I'm living for me, myself. And when I say myself, I'm not talking about in a selfish manner. I'm talking about for yourself so you could provide for others. A lot of people are going backwards. They are providing for other people, other races, family members, friends. So you have to ask yourself, who and what I'm living for. That's vital, because that could open up a lot of corridors to the next sequence of life. I didn't ask myself that coming up because I was living for family. I was living for the clubs, the bars, females, so on and so on. Now that I have the power to sit in front of a camera and teach the world, to ask them that, to ask that question, to unlock other pathways that's there in their life, that the only way you could unlock it, you have to first ask yourself that question. Who and what I'm living for? A lot of people are living to die. A lot of people don't see value in life. Some people feel like we just here to perish. Some people feel like life doesn't have a purpose. So a lot of people have made up their mind previously to this question. That's why some are in prison. Some of them are real estate owners, or they own their own restaurant because they knew to ask themselves these questions early on. So once these questions are answered, you could find your spouse, you could create children, you could open up daycares. At first, you have to answer that question. A lot of people skip that question. It's like taking a test. It's like, instead of taking it's like taking a test and you don't study. You know what I'm saying? Okay, they give you the study guide, and then you skip the study guide, and then you take the test. Then you don't do as what you thought you was going to do. First, you have to look at the study guide, gain the knowledge, then you take the test. A lot of people are skipping the study guide phase. It's okay, because we are humans. That's what we do. We rush. We rush into work, traffic. They tell you do this, do that. You watching TV, distracted. So you don't find a quality time to ask yourself who and what I'm living for. I mean, it's okay not to ask yourself that. Now that you're watching this video, and now that you should ask yourself that now. So the video I was watching, brother Kwaku, Kwaku, he was touching vital points of why, when, what, and where, and how you should ask yourself this question. So, it's a question that I feel people are not ready for. Because once you see how important your mission is to help your race and to repair your race, and that's all it's about. When you look at the ants, they just building. We didn't come here for no clubs, partying, football games, basketball, hockey, all that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. And now it makes you think why these rappers get paid so many millions of dollars, all these athletes, because yes, we invented those games, but it's not controlled by the people that look like us. So we invent the game, they pay them $1 million to distract you from your purpose. So it's like, wow, everything we invent is being used upon us. Yes, it's true. So when your kids or children go to school, they don't ask them, who are you? They ask them, who do you want to become? And then they're looking at the Michael Jordan picture. They're looking at the Kobe Bryant picture. They're looking at a cop picture. They're looking at the doctor picture. But it's not the child. It's not the child's parents. So with your race, us being the black people, we are being removed from ourselves. From elementary, from the hospital, when the baby come out of the womb after 9 months of darkness, it comes to a doctor that's not from his race. Your child gets taken to the back. They take your child, then they give it back. Keyword I use is back. So it's like, wow, we've been kidnapped since we came into existence. Removal of self. So it's more of, we so removed from ourselves, we don't even trust our shadow. We think we distant from the shadow when we one with the shadow. See how it goes? But it can only work when you don't ask yourself, who and what I'm living for. Elementary, middle school, high school, they instill it in your mind. Who do you want to become? Become means to form. So who do you want to be like? You could be anybody but yourself. You could be the prisoner, you could be the CO, you could be the warden, but don't be yourself. And then these examples look just like us. They make the lie black. So now you're going to believe these athletes, these preachers. And it only works when you don't ask yourself who and what I'm living for. That's a question you better answer fast as possible. Or else you will be the next prisoner. Because the average person that's taking that type of lifestyle, which is negative, let them stop right now and say who and what I'm living for. They will be surprised when they calculate how much money they done spent on the clubs and the females and the streets. And then everything you living for has no value. But when you stop and ask yourself who and what I'm living for, you notice your value. You're going to stop drinking. You're going to stop smoking. You will even drive different because you will start thinking about other people's lives. That's how it works. So ask yourself this on a daily. In a perfect setting, kids, spouse, sit down, everyone talks. Who and what I'm living for. Excuse me, because everyone's answer is going to give a reflection. Excuse me, whether positive, whether negative. When it's negative, you could fix it. When it's positive, you could enhance it. But once you don't answer that question, it can never be fixed. Think about it. Since birth, you came out of this womb after 9 months, kidnapped from a doctor that doesn't come from your race, took him to the back, take your child and then give him back. Removal of self. Then when you go to elementary, middle school, high school, all you hear is who you want to be like. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. Two athletes from our culture, but it's never the person. They don't ask, who are you? They ask you, who do you want to become? Become means to form. I'm already someone, so why would I form into something else? The other races know this. We are the most idolized people on the planet. We want to worship the rappers, the basketball players, the football players, and they do nothing for you. They don't raise no charity. They don't pay no light bill, no water bill. It's just, that's how the system of being systematic is set up towards us. Once we start giving our energy to outside sources, going to the hospitals, going to the clinics, going to the courtrooms, that's removal of self. Because you go into it and everything is within. Without means to drain. Like when you look at a water well and you drain out all of the water is coming out of the well, so now the water is, now the well is empty. It's just like your body. When someone withdraws out all of the blood, you're dead. The blood doesn't circulate no more. Everything is within, the organs is in, everything is in, ain't nothing outside of you. But once I could get you to believe, you have to come to the hospital. Now you spend the extra money. Now you worry, you scared. First, I have to not let you ask that question, who and what I'm living for. Because a lot of you are living for STDs, diseases, viruses, HIVs, AIDS. Y'all living for the doctor and mentally not aware of it. Because they could stop the programming too, because they could just tell you, well, who are you living for? Who and what you living for? Game over. Mfundishi13 CrystalSun. Brother Kwaku, thank you. KWAKU, African Liberation Station. Beautiful topic. You just made me do one more of your videos, so I know this one will do great numbers. I appreciate you, brother. I would love to come to the continent and sit down and build with you, brother. So, I mean, you call me, I call you, we set it up and we do what it do. So I appreciate it. One more time, ask yourself, who and what are you living for? Are you living for that house? Are you living for that car? Are you living for you? You living for your family? You living for that Mfundishi13 CrystalSun?